A few months ago, I made the decision to buy the iPad Pro 12.9 inch and Apple Pencil. I first saw the iPad Pro when I was looking on Instagram at some amazing hand lettering art from different artists from around the world, and I noticed that a lot of them were starting to use the iPad Pro, but I didn't know whether the iPad Pro was actually going to be good for me. So this video is sort of like a follow-on video from my first one where I had the initial sort of review of the iPad Pro for designers and artists. But in this video, I am going head to head with the Apple Pencil versus a normal graphite pencil. We're going to see which one is better. So now I've had a few months to play around with the iPad and to get everything that it offers, I've realized that it's actually better than I first expected and first told you guys it was. Don't get me wrong, I did say that the iPad Pro was an amazing piece of kit, especially with the pencil, but it is beyond that. There is more to be found within this than just what I said in the last video. The Apple Pencil is made of plastic, but the size of it is perfect for anyone that's wanting to draw or illustrate. Some people may differ from this, and it is plastic, and that means it does get slippy, but you can actually put a little rubber tip on the end of it so your fingers don't slip. But for me, I just use the Apple Pencil like normal. One problem that I did encounter was that the Apple Pencil does just kind of slide on the screen and it doesn't feel like drawing, but I did go ahead and buy a matte screen protector because they're very cheap and put it on there, and it felt a lot better with a bit more traction, or as they say in design terms, tooth. When I first used the Apple Pencil, I was really surprised about its accuracy. If you're a hand lettering artist or someone who does lots of drawing in paper, then you'll realize that you may need to think before you buy a stylus, because we've always had the problem, which is that it doesn't feel like you're drawing on paper, and the experience of drawing is just as important as what you're drawing on. I was pleasantly surprised with the Apple Pencil because where I put the pencil on the iPad Pro screen, that is exactly where it drew. This accuracy has never been seen before in my life. I may have missed out on a couple pieces of technology, but this is incredible, and using it meant that I started to forget that I was using an iPad and just focused on the drawing itself. I didn't have to sort of work my way into using it. The iPad Pro already knew how I was going to use it, and it fulfilled that. You see, that's the problem with technology. We love pencils because they know how to be used. We know how to use them. They fit us, we don't fit them. And the problem with technology is that we feel like we have to fit to the technology, but not anymore. Apple Pencil actually stops that. It really enables you to use the pencil just as you normally would. The length of the Apple Pencil is actually really comfy as well. A lot of these other styluses that we've used, they're not in a pencil shape. Now, Apple have gone for the very simplistic approach, but the actual size of it makes a lot of sense. It's the size of a normal pencil and it's a bit thicker as well, so it's easier to hold, but it's very comfortable in my opinion. It is well balanced as well, not too heavy and not too light, which means that you get some really nice lines, and it also feels like a premium product. A feature you may have seen before on Wacom graphics tablets is that you're able to tilt the pen or the graphic tablet pen on its side and the brush will act in a different way, just as if you were actually tilting a brush on the side and painting. Well, the Apple Pencil does this as well, and it works really, really well. Because I do a lot of sketching of like logo types and a lot of words and characters, that I don't really use this function all too much in the initial drawing phase, because I only use this function when I'm filling in the letter forms, which I only fill in with pencil because it's so accurate. But it's really handy to have this feature because it means that I'm able to really quickly fill in the center part of the letter form that I'm trying to fill in, and then go ahead, tilt it back up to where it normally is and go in with the finer detail to make sure I'm not coloring outside of the lines. Another great feature on the Apple Pencil, which is to be expected, is the pressure sensitivity. Now, when I saw people drawing on Instagram with the Apple Pencil, I realized that there's going to be pressure sensitivity, but it probably won't work the same way as a pencil, and it probably won't be too accurate. Well, how wrong was I? Because it is flipping accurate. It is so accurate that I'm able to actually do brush calligraphy in a really nice way on the iPad. I use an app called Procreate, which I've created all my brushes on. It's a bit of a strange name for an app, I know, but it's basically like Photoshop on the iPad, where you can draw, create your own brushes and have millions of different things to change about them, and you can also share the brushes too. If you use Procreate and you would love some of the brushes that you're seeing here on this video, you can actually download them on my website. The link will be in the description. But the pressure sensitivity within the pencil is amazing, not only for brush calligraphy, but for sketching outlines very lightly and then going over it with a bit more pressure. You start to realize that you're not treating this as a product anymore, that you're treating this as a tool that can be used. And the great thing about Apple products is that it doesn't take a genius to work it out, and plus they don't expect you to work around their products. They expect the products to work with you like you would normally use them, like a pencil. I've heard a lot of complaints recently about the iPad Pro and Apple Pencil, about the pressure sensitivity and also just about the size of the screen, but that is literally it. The size of the screen on the iPad. Haven't talked too much about the iPad Pro in this one because it's all focused around the Apple Pencil, and that was the sole reason why a lot of people are going to be buying this and have bought it. But it's also important to realize that the bigger the iPad Pro screen, the better experience you're going to have. There's so much to say about the Apple Pencil and iPad Pro combo because it's so good for artists. And if you're a designer or someone who's looking to get into hand lettering, or someone who's just trying to get better at their work and they would like to do it digitally on the iPad, then I would say that buying the iPad Pro and the Apple Pencil is a guilt-free buy because it's helping you do something amazing. I don't know about you, but I felt guilty after getting this because it's so expensive. There's so much stuff to do with it, but you get what you pay for, and you literally do on this. It's a very expensive product to have on an expensive combo and a very expensive pencil, but it does exactly what it says. There is no lag on the screen when you're drawing, which is incredible. It just feels like you're normally drawing on paper. The form factor of it and everything else about the Apple Pencil is unprecedented, and it's with me all the time. And a question that I get a lot of the time now, because I'm using the iPad Pro and Apple Pencil, is am I still using paper and pencil like the normal one? The short answer is yes, I still use paper and pencil, but not nearly as often. I say I draw in my iPad Pro 70% of the time when I'm working. My workflow has changed massively from when it comes to logo design. I start doing my sketches in the iPad. I start uploading them from the iPad and sending them to clients a lot easily. I do Instagram posts in it and it just makes it look amazing. So let me know your thoughts about the Apple Pencil down in the comments section below. I'd like to actually hear what you guys are experiencing with and whether or not you guys are actually using the Surface Pro or that desktop Surface thing yet. I would like to know how that is. This video is sponsored by DotSpace. DotSpace is a domain registration website where you can get your own creative .space domain. They have over 150,000 registrations so far, and my .space domain is down in the description below, which is willpatterson.space, and that is it. They are targeted towards us, the creative people, and it's just an amazing URL and domain to get for your website and your portfolio. So if you'd like a huge discount on your .space domain, go and click the link in the description below to get your .space domain for $2.99 instead of $20. And also, just as a little announcement on the channel, I'm going to Paris next week. So this time next week, I will be in Paris streaming live on the sort of late afternoon, evening. I'll tell you the time if you follow me on Instagram and Twitter, but come and join us on the Adobe Live website and also on their YouTube channel on that day. I'll be streaming live my hand lettering process and it's going to be a lot of fun. I'll see you there. I also have some iPad brushes ready to be downloaded from my website, so go and click the link for that as well. Make sure you subscribe, stay awesome, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. See you soon.